So don't everybody rush to get it done. We're doing everything in our power to have our cameras and audio working. So there might be some frozen and there might be a little glitch here and there. So we apologize ahead. All right. Hi, Sheila. All right. Are you watching, Sheila, or are you cooking? Watching. Take the mute button off. All right, you just watch in silence then.
There, now you have to listen to me.
Oh, I feel much better now. All right, I think that's
Karen Clement.
Yes, from Alabama or from Kentucky. Karen from Kentucky.
There's Karen. Hi, Karen.
There's Karen.
There she is.
She's trying to look pretty for us. Look at that.
All right, so I think we got everybody. So
Oh, that's it. Wow, that's a full screen. Hi, Karen. There you go. Karen from Kentucky. Everybody remember? All right, we ready, fellas? All right. All right, welcome to Williams Hall Unity Table. All right, so tonight, what I wanted to talk about and go over, since this is the time of year that everybody gets squashes and pumpkins and we have no understanding of them, basically. I mean, we have for everybody who does not live in Key West, you will see a lot more different squashes, different types of pumpkins. The easiest ones to obtain are the butternut squash, the acorn squash. I had to quarter it because I had to cook one. So anyway, acorn squash, which is kind of, I mean, everybody knows what that looks like, right?
Yep.
Spaghetti squash, which not a lot of people like to use, but it's a fun squash to use because there's a texture to it, and there's a lot. It can be like your pasta if you want it to be. It absorbs flavors really well, and that's what I like about pumpkins and squashes, that they do that. And then the one I'm going to use for this dish is kalabasa, which is a pumpkin type. It is a pumpkin. And the difference between squash and pumpkins really is a starch content. So pumpkins are a lot more starchy. They tend to be a little bit more, I don't know, they're all pretty earthy in flavor, but they also aren't as sweet, I find, as like butternut and acorn squash. There's also delicata squash. Are you guys familiar with that? Everybody know? All right, delicata squash is about, I don't know, how long is that? 8 inches? Anyway, it shouldn't be 8 inches long. I had to ask the guys.
Okay, yes.
So yeah. Anyway,
G-rated.
thank you, Sheila. So, and it's yellow, striped, and green, and sometimes orange, and it's almost like fluted, and it's small. That one has very, very thin skin. So those are the kind that you just cut the long way, fill them up with some sort of vegetable filling, like you could chop up mushrooms and spinach, or you can put sausage or rice or whatever. And those make really great stuffed little numbers. So we don't have those in Key West this week, so you don't get to see them. So tonight, what we're going to do is, before I do all that, I cooked off a spaghetti squash just because I think they're really cool squashes, and I use them a lot with seafood. They're really good with scallops. They're really good with any kind of white, meaty dish. It's also good with meat and all that, but I like it especially with scallops and shrimp too. But you bake it at 375 for about 40 minutes. The trick with this squash is that when you test it, you want to like almost take a fork and get through the skin. Can you guys see that? Like you should be able to put your fork right through it, like that. All right. And then, let's see if I can get this. What you want to do is take your fork after it's cooled enough to touch, and then you just flake it out, and then you get this string. And that's why it's called spaghetti squash. It's actually really good with just tomato sauce, a good red sauce. It's good with truffle butter. But it also takes very kindly to herbs, olive oil, salt, pepper, chilies. But it's fun because you can just saute it to reheat it, or you can just reheat it in a microwave if you have to. But it's a really fun squash, and you can treat it like pasta. So if you're tired of zucchini being a pasta or some sort of squash being your pasta, this is a great one in the winter. All right, so let's get down to brass tacks. Let's see the squash. Jim, butternut, you have like an acorn, yep, and you have a calabasa. All right, so Amy and Linda, what I want you guys to do, we're gonna steady the squash so it's easy to cut and manageable, all right? So what you're gonna do is lay it so you have it like this, all right? All your squashes. Jim, hold on a minute, all right? So you take your knife and cut the top piece off. Then cut the base on the bottom a little bit, just a small piece. This way it's going to be easier to cut in half. Perfect, Amy. All right, so now you're going to stand it on the cut side. And you're going to take your knife and you're going to hold it up like this. And you're just going to cut right down the center. If it seems really hard, what you want to do is take a kitchen towel, put it over the tip. That way you can brace down on it, and then you won't get the tip of your knife in your hand. It's a good trick. So, right, Susan?
Yes, it works.
Like this. Take your, I'm dealing with a half of one, so take your knife, make sure that you have a towel over the tip. Cut it down the center. Take a spoon. You can't eat it like that, Linda. And then take a spoon and take out the seeds. You can save them if you want. Take them over to Tony and Andy's house if you're in Key West. All the pumpkins go there.
What do they do?
We don't know yet. She's got a big bag of them.
Bird feeders.
So then, Linda, after you're done with your butternut squash, taking the seeds out, then cut it in half again so you have quarters like that. So Amy, you two cut it into quarters. Yep.
Like quarters widthwise or lengthwise?
Lengthwise. That way, yep. So butternut
Like this.
squash looking like that. Yep, perfect.
Okay.
All right. Linda's got the sharp knife. How you doing, Susan, over there? All right?
Good. I'm all good.
Perfect. Okay, so then what we're going to do is for the butternut squash people, you're going to take the bell part off because it's going to make it a whole lot easier to navigate. Jim, what I want you to do is break yours down into quarters, your calabaza squash into quarters. So I don't know how big yours is, but you want to get it down to a manageable size. I broke my first. So Jim, you want to go down to this size?
Okay. Like that?
Yep, perfect. Okay. Then what we're gonna do is I just cut the skins right off. We don't need to peel it. You just get your knife right against, you have a flat side, the cut flat side, Amy? Yep, put that down on your cutting board, and then just take your knife and just follow the skin and try not to cut too much of the flesh. But that should be pretty easy. With,
Okay.
yes,
That's-
Linda
that's
Cunningham,
way-
I can't
that's-
hear you.
Can you now?
Yeah,
Okay, that's way easier for you than for me.
peel.
So is there?
Yeah,
enough-
it's way easier to do than peeling because what happens when you peel, when I peel squash, it goes everywhere, and because there's that slime factor.
Yeah,
With this, I just
yeah, but
it
my
seems
knife's
easier to me.
yeah, my knife's not sharp enough. I got to peel. So hang
All right, well, if you got to peel it, peel it.
Does it have to be exactly clean?
No,
Like,
you want to get as much off as you can. It doesn't have to be like perfectly clean. All right. How's everybody feel about that?
I could be here for 3 hours.
Who said that?
Linda did.
Linda.
Well, you
That's
certainly
why
won't
I
get that
asked.
restaurant job you dreamed of if you got 3 hours on that.
That's why I asked you if you need if there was some prep work I could
No,
do.
because I wanted to show you how to use the knife with the cut it down
Right.
so that you could use a knife.
All
The
right.
ball, and quite honestly, when I'm doing a bunch of stuff with butternut squash, I usually just take the bell part of the bottom and I roast them separately or use them separately.
Well, I went back to the knife, so.
Yeah.
it's just
See?
that it's curved. This guy's curved a lot, so it's hard to.
This,
Yeah, I mean, if it seems uncomfortable and you don't like doing it, go ahead and get a peeler and peel it. But you could also use a paring knife, may make it easier.
this peeler works great.
All right, well then you get the peel on. Where's Barry?
He's sitting here watching on the other side of
Okay.
the room.
All right, hi Barry.
No, he doesn't do squash.
Well, if the Schooner Wharf made it, he might eat it. All right. How we doing, everybody?
Better.
All right. Mo Bedham. This is also a dish where you could do different types of squash together as long as they're, I mean, it doesn't really matter. You can mix them up if you want.
Does it cook at the
Diversity.
same rate?
Yes, because we're going to cut them approximately the same size.
Okay.
This reminds me why I never cook butternut squash.
That reminds me, that's why you got a husband. Help. Here, peel the damn squash.
Oh, the squash.
All right. So, did you just cut off the top there, Linda?
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. Just
All
keep
right.
going. I'm almost done.
Susan, you okay there?
I'm I'm ready.
All right, Jim,
Yep. I'm
Settled?
good.
okay. Amy, you all right
Yeah.
there?
I'm good. Yep.
All right, so what you want to do once you have it all peeled, you, let's see, with the butternut squash, start with the neck because it's easier to navigate, right? And then we're gonna just make some nice planks, as I call them, so they look like this. Amy, with yours, you're gonna take the cut, again, take a cut end,
Yeah,
put it right like that, and then you want to have about 1/4 inch to a 1/4 inch thickness is what we're looking for.
And they're like slices. I have to make my.
Yeah,
screen
so they're gonna look like this.
Okay.
All right. So with yours, you can cut it like this.
Like cut it on this, like make them long.
Yep. So they
Okay.
look curved like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And you said about a 1/4 inch.
Yeah. I mean, with a pinky's width,
Okay. So like
That's-
this,
not a 1/4 inch, but
like that.
yep. Perfect.
Okay.
Yep. And then just cut it down. So with the butternut squash, you have your plank, and then cut about 1/2 inch pieces so you have them looking like this. Everybody, so they're little. Can we see that? Everybody.
Like
So
dominoes.
you have nice pieces, right? You see like that?
Well,
Yeah. Yes, no?
Yep.
So you're taking this piece like that, and then you're gonna cut so you get a piece like that.
so you want them then chop this one then,
Yes, exactly.
and then okay, I can do that. Like looking like a domino.
Yes, about 1/2 the size of a domino though.
Okay.
All right. You guys just did the hardest part of the class. So if you have them like this, Jim, for the calabasa, then you can just cut them all about into quarters. Quarter
Okay.
them again.
Right.
Also, the problem, like a lot of people, well, you guys can probably answer this. How often do you cook squash?
Not very
Never. Not often.
if
I
it's,
cook it a few times in the fall.
A lot.
if it's zucchini, I cook it at least twice a week.
All right. All right.
I
The
cook a lot
problem-
of
like what I-
delicata.
Delicata, yeah, because it's easy. You don't have to do much to it, and it cooks
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
Well, this way we're going to learn what this is going to teach you is also that it cooks. It doesn't have to take forever. That's why we're breaking it down, really. And then we're going to put the squash pieces in a pan with a lid. Do you guys have a lid to go with your pan?
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
what we're going to do, I'm going to explain this right now while you guys are finishing up cutting your squash, is what we're going to do is we're going to put about 1/2 cup of water and a little bit of olive oil in a pan. We're going to toss the squash into the pan and a little bit of salt. I'm going to turn the pan on high and get that water going. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to steam this, and then the water is going to evaporate and the oil is going to brown the squash. Everybody follow along? Makes sense?
Yeah, but repeat,
So-
repeat the quantities,
The what?
the quantities, oil and water.
Oh, okay. So about a half a cup of water in a pan that has a lid. Because essentially what we're going to do is we're going to steam this, which will take about 5 to 8 minutes. And then when the water has evaporated, it'll start, because there's oil in there, it'll start to fry. It'll start to brown the squash, because we want just a little bit of brown on there. And if you're using a couple different types of squash, it's always nice to get maybe like one has a little square cut or the others, just try to make the cuts. If you're doing two different types, then make them recognizable by the cuts so that it all doesn't taste like one thing.
I noticed you said saffron or canola oil, no olive oil.
The safflower oil or canola, yes, because it's really a neutral and I'm not looking to get an olive oil fruity taste.
Got it.
Wait, canola is okay? Sorry.
Yes, canola is perfect.
And how much oil, Martha?
We're gonna put a tablespoon in.
Got it.
With a
All right.
half a-
Martha, you
half a cup
don't
of-
want,
Huh?
you don't want olive oil, or you do?
No,
No olive oil, okay.
no olive oil. Yeah, because it's fruit, usually pretty fruity, and depending on the olive oil that you use, can take on some acidic flavors, which is not what we really want in this dish. If you love olive oil and think it needs to be in it, it's fine. That's your choice. But try it with the canola first, and then if you want more body and fruitiness, then you can use olive oil. But I find that it's really not necessary.
Okay.
All right, so turn your stove on to high. You got your squash in there, salt it, a tablespoon of oil.
And then how much water again?
I'm sorry?
How much water? Fourth a cup?
Half cup.
Half a cup.
Put your lid on, and you want a good solid high heat for about 5 minutes on that. All right, everybody good? There's Linda. Does that give it the magic touch, Linda? All
Yeah,
right.
well, I was putting the oil or spreading the oil around. Yes.
All right, so now for the mushrooms. Everybody got mushrooms?
Wait, we should put this in before it boils. Does it matter? I mean,
Yeah,
before
start it from cold, Amy.
Okay.
Stovetop works.
No.
Better? Everybody? Okay.
Why did it get so quiet?
What?
Got so
I'm
quiet.
back. I'm live.
Okay.
All right, we're good to go now. All right.
Martha,
You're gone again.
you're,
And what are we gonna do? What are our little squashes are just gonna be steaming?
Every time you touch that pan, your voice goes, Martha. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, she's got a share mic now.
no.
No.
Can you hear us, Martha? Oh, okay.
So we shouldn't say bad things, right?
Almost.
We're going to be just fine.
Mushroom? Sounds like first word is
Mushroom. 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 Chop them.
Right?
okay.
Mushroom. I got three types of mushrooms.
You're back.
You're back.
All right, great. Listen to that. All right, I'm going to talk really quick. I've got three different types of mushrooms. Again, people who don't live in Key West who have the ability to get some, different mushrooms.
Martha, you're cut out again.
Say something.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, very little bit.
Yeah.
Just barely.
Max is fixing it right now.
Martha, your big mic is working. If you're closer to that, we can hear you.
Or just yell.
Or do a share imitation and grab the mic.
Yeah.
It's not
Do
giving
it.
you time.
Yeah, do it. The mic is live. We just can't hear you. You're too far away from it.
Right.
I know, Max, but these are
Get closer.
Get closer to that mic.
What do you need from me now?
Oh, we can hear you.
Ah,
The
You
quantity
guys
of
can hear me
mushrooms.
now?
Huh?
Can you hear
Yes.
me now?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Odd. All right.
What's the total quantity of mushrooms we need?
Well, because they shrink down,
Yeah.
I got a half a pound of each.
Okay.
But it depends how many people you want to feed. So I would, if you're doing for two or four people, I would just get probably a half a pound of a couple different, and that should be plenty.
So you
I
want to
got-
use, Martha, you want to use a variety of types of mushrooms then?
Yeah, I mean, trails, you can use hen of the woods, whatever you want. I was pretty limited.
Martha, talk into that mic.
I'm gonna. I'm talking into the damn microphone. Got it?
Yeah.
All right. So if you have portobellos or if you use portobellos ever, I just want to show you guys a nifty trick. It does two things. It makes portobello mushrooms not hard on your stomachs or hard to digest. and it makes them from not being black, your whatever you're cooking turn black, because the gills on portobellos are what makes it difficult to eat and digest. So what I suggest is a smaller knife, unless you're comfortable with the big knife. Take the stem out like that. And then what I do is I just take my paring knife and then just start cutting the gills off like that. And you're going to go it pretty far into it. But it does make all the difference in the world when you do this and you're cooking them. Anytime I do anything with portobellos, I take these gills off. And if you look at some mushrooms, if there's a lot of gills on them and you can kind of scrape them off, I suggest to do that. And then just, I just take them, cut them down in half this way, like that. And then with mushrooms, I like to cut them thicker because you do lose so much volume with a mushroom, especially if you slice them thin. Right?
Martha, it's one of your cooks. Is Linda. My butternut squash is now waterless. You don't want this to what now?
Okay, take it off. Is your heat off? Did you take it off the heat? All right, so if it's waterless, they should be fairly close. Are they tender?
Yes.
All right, then our job here is done. So I just want to catch up, Linda. All right, so after you have them, after the water goes out, what you do is turn the heat down a little bit, and you want to start browning these. And it won't take very long to get that browning going.
Just let them sit and brown or stir them?
Stir them. As they brown, you can move them around and get them, ground up some more. All right, how's everybody doing in there? Susan, you're all over the place.
I am.
Everybody getting browning on their squash there?
Mine is not browning.
Is it high enough?
No, probably not.
All right.
It's tender, but it's
Turn
not
the heat up
browning.
a little bit more. And has the water already come out?
Yeah.
All right. If you need to, you can add a little bit more oil just to get it to start browning.
Okay.
Then as they get browned, get your mushrooms all sliced up and ready. Everybody ready with mushrooms? I need a little oil. So at this point in time, what you're going to do is once they start to brown up, because you're going to take them out of the pan into a bowl. They're going to go back in that same pan after we're done cooking the mushrooms. And then we'll toss them together and finish it. All right?
How brown do you want them, Martha?
I would just get a light golden brown,
Okay.
as much as you can.
These aren't browning the way, well, maybe they are. Actually, they do look like yours. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not browning up especially well for you and they start to get mushy, then just don't worry about the browning part because you don't want them to get mushy on you.
Right.
Okay.
That's where we're headed. So, okay.
Yeah, so let's not have that happen.
Should we turn the heat off the pan and then take them out?
Yep. Take them out, then put the pan back on the burner. Medium high.
I have wonderful browning in the pan.
Yes.
Not on the squash, but in the pan. So
Yeah, I know, me too. Here, look.
yeah, I figure we don't have to take that out, right?
Because when the mushrooms release their liquid, this is all going to start coming off the bottom of the pan anyway. It's called casual cooking.
So squash comes out of the pan
Yep.
and
They put the mushrooms in.
And then you're going to put about another tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half of oil back in your pan. And the pan should be on a medium high heat because what we want to do is get these mushrooms cooked pretty quickly. All right.
And
then
just put the mushrooms in now.
Yep, and then just add your mushrooms. Listen to them sear. Nice sizzling sound. And then season them with a little salt. If you're like me and you have a jalapeno or a serrano around, this is a good time to add a chopped one if you like that sort of thing. There is a little chili in the drizzle sauce, so if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But y'all, as they say. But I'm going to add a half a jalapeno into the mushroom, just a dice of it, so. Add those into the mushroom. As you cook your mushrooms, kind of stir them around. If they start drying up, just add a little bit more oil.
Martha, do you have a couple of kinds of mushrooms in there or just portobello?
Yeah, I have portobellos and shiitakes.
Okay.
You can use creminis, chanterelles, hen of the woods,
Right.
any, portobello, what's the other one? Porcinis are nice with this, if you have a porcini near you. And like that. So you're cooking the mushrooms until they just start to release their liquid. soon as they release the liquid, everybody knows what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Cooking mushrooms that way. All right.
What do we do as soon as they release it?
Is that English? I didn't hear you.
What do we do once they start to release it?
What you're going to do is you're going to add your squash into that pan with the mushrooms.
And
Voila.
keep it on
And
medium.
then you're gonna mix them up. Once they're mixed, taste it. Taste your little mix there, and taste it for salt. All right. If you want to add pepper to it, this would be the time to do that.
Martha, should we keep it on that medium high?
I would turn it down to medium, Amy.
Okay.
And then once you have them all mixed together, take them off the heat. Delicious. You guys want some squash?
It might not actually
Squash
be,
tonight.
it might not be as
What's that she says with the spatula?
It may not be as pretty as yours, but daggone, this stuff is good.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
All right, imagine that with a serrano in there. No.
Is yours
Okay.
spicy? Is it the picante?
Mine has half a jalapeno in it.
Yeah, so is it pretty hot?
Not very spicy, but
Oh.
it's actually, this is kind of, I bastardized a very traditional Oaxacan dish right here. So, and what they do when I was in Oaxaca, I've had a dish like this. And what they do is they steam onion they steam the squash, and then they put it in like a clay pot and put the mushrooms and all that, and then they slow cook it. I don't know for how long. But just so delicious.
Cheryl, I think that was you who asked about how hot it is. It's not. There's nothing but just a little backbite of spice or heat.
Got it.
All right, and then the last thing, I just want to mention that this also at room temperature, you can use it if you take some wintergreen, radicchio, treviso, any of the bitter greens, and make a nice mix of those. This is a great salad. So, I mean, a really nice room temperature dish. It's great with, like I said before, fish, pretty much anything. And it's also a nice vegetarian meal. So, I mean, squash and mushrooms together is pretty, I mean, it all tastes, it's that sensation of eating meat without doing eating. And it fills you up very quickly. So, I mean, it's a really pretty versatile dish. It's good. You can stuff. If you had an acorn squash, you could take that squash mixture and hollow out an acorn squash and add that in there. Delicata squash, you can use that as a boat, cut it horizontally this way and take that filling and put that in there. So that because delicata squash doesn't really give you very much squash like meat. It's kind of like little tiny eating. And so that would be a really great vessel to stuff this mixture with. You could stuff chicken breasts with it if you wanted. It's pretty versatile. And that's kind of my goal with a lot of these classes is teaching you couple simple products put together that you can expand into a whole world of other things. So it's not just one dish. It can, not one dish, it's many dishes from the one dish. So, and then once you get like your flavor profile going or what, you know, what you like, then you can do, you know, your add in your little touches to it to make it what you really want it to be. Another thing, if you make it into a salad or use it as a salad, pomegranate right now, this time of year, they're ripe, they're beautiful, and you can just sprinkle those on top, and I'll do that when we're done with that. The last little piece we have to do is the goat cheese drizzle, which is very simple. I like to leave the goat cheese out so it's really pliable, like butter. So you don't have to mix a whole lot of anything into it to get it creamy. I use regular, just plain, unflavored goat cheese, but if you like the flavored goat cheese, this is a great time to use that. That way you have the flavor kind of built in. We're gonna take a little bit of dark cocoa. I ran out of
Unsweetened?
Huh?
Unsweetened?
Unsweetened, yes. So dark cocoa, I like the Onyx stuff, as some of you people know, but we don't have that, so I got some dark Hershey's chocolate cocoa. It works fine as long as it's not sweetened. And start with about a teaspoon and a half.
And
I
do
just-
what? Oh, sorry.
About a teaspoon and a half of cocoa.
Put
with
it in a bowl.
Put it in a bowl, yep.
With the goat cheese, right?
What's that?
With or without that goat cheese?
With.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Pinch of chili flake. Or 4, depending on your needs. And then if you have sour cream, this just kind of stretches it out if you want a little more sour to it. So you can put, say about a tablespoon and a half sour cream.
And how much of the cheese did you put in?
That was probably a 1/4 cup, maybe a little bit more than a 1/4 cup.
How much sour cream?
About a tablespoon and a half, 2 tablespoons. Squeeze a lime. Pinch of salt. Did I put cilantro on that list?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. This is all new, all right? We're trying. All right, so my favorite trick for anti-cilantro people, but we need the flavor anyway, it's the stems. So if you take a bunch, just take probably, say 10 sprigs of cilantro. Just trim the bottoms off a little bit, just take a little bit off the bottoms, and then we're gonna mince about a tablespoon of cilantro stem into that.
So if you just use the, Martha, if you just use the stems, it won't taste like soap for those of us who can't eat cilantro?
Correct. It tastes bright. And I know I tell you guys this a lot, but it's the truth. The cilantro, all of the essential oils are in the leaves, the heavy part of the oil. So if you're using leaves for a dish, what I suggest usually is just take the leaves off, leave them whole, don't cut them, and you throw them in the dish and because the more you cut, the more the oil comes out, and that's that soapy bit that people are opposed to, or there's so much cilantro. So you can do that, Cheryl. If you don't want to do cilantro at all, I would put in this mixture a pinch of cumin and a pinch of coriander, ground.
Okay.
It just gives you a little bit more depth to the drizzle. What do you think, Linda?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So mix that up well.
You had
This
scallions.
also is really good on tacos, by the way.
You had onion on this list. Was I supposed to put that in with the squash? Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Next time.
If you want. Hey, I'm new at this.
Hey,
You guys
Martha.
usually don't ever see this part of me. You see the professional side.
It didn't seem like it would taste too good in this, so that was.
It didn't taste what?
I said, I don't think onion would belong in this cocoa, so that was the.
Yeah. No.
And then are we just spreading this around? I mean, we're just.
Yeah, you're gonna stir it around so everything gets mixed up really nice in there. And then if it's still pretty thick, you can add a little bit more sour cream or some more lime juice.
So it needs to be of drizzle consistency, right?
Yes.
Not.
If you have a little half and half, that doesn't hurt. That if you don't want to put more lime juice in there,
You can't go
you go,
wrong
that's
with lime.
limey enough for me.
Hey, Martha.
Yes.
I just saw on, Jacques Pepin does those little video clips. He had an idea for the cilantro stems, because if you don't go through a lot of cilantro, you can cut the stems off and freeze them, and then use them just like you said. But that way, you're not always out of cilantro, which is kind of because it.
That's right. I buy 2 bunches usually because I use that many stems, and then I don't know what to do with all the leaves. But again, Cheryl, when I use the cilantro stems in cooking, and I know that there's people coming to the dinners or whatever, and I know I have cilantro stems in there, unless they're highly allergic, I don't say anything until they're done eating it, and they're like, wow, that was really good, and I didn't taste any cilantro. The stems hold that really, like, that bright piece to a dish. So that's that. We get it nice and smooth and drizzly. I need a whisk or a bigger spoon. I like how the cocoa ends the flavor there. So when you put this all together, all those flavors really, you go cocoa, no way, but cocoa and mushrooms go really well together.
And who knew?
The idea is chocolate and mole. You're not using that much, and what it does is it gives you this, just this really nice, like cocoa flavor, but it's not sweet, and it just adheres itself. It just loves mushrooms and it loves squashes. So,
Show me the, Martha,
yes.
show me the consistency of yours.
It's still pretty thick.
Okay, yeah.
I need more lime juice in mine, but
Yeah.
Like, how much lime juice did you do overall?
about a whole lime.
Oh,
That's better.
That's better. There we go. All right. With goat cheese and lime juice or any sort of acid, though, it will tighten back up. It sets it up pretty quickly again, too. So just keep that in mind. We need more chili in there. And again, to your taste buds.
Wait, you added chili pepper?
Chili flake. A couple pinches. You know, again, that's your palate. So I'm just going to use a couple little cups of radicchio just for color. But you can, when you use radicchio, a lot of people don't like it because it's so bitter. But what you can do is cut it up and soak it in cold water for ice water for 20 minutes, and it takes that right away. Makes all the difference in the world in radicchio. So we'll make a nice little cup for that. It'll look nice. I gotta make it pretty for the fellas who are filming me, because they're hungry. So let me just go. I know I've shown you guys this before, but really quick, since I have your attention and some new people. You like the pomegranate, but you don't like how to get into it. Again, it's all about the quartering it. Oh, there. Okay, there you go. So quarter it, and always hold the bowl over it. That way you don't go staining everything in your kitchen. And then what I do is I just invert it like that, and you'll see that you can just get out all the seeds, and that's what you want. But this is just a nice little extra touch garnish if you want. I like the idea of it. It was a very last minute purchase. Did everybody see that? Oh yeah, there you go. All right. So you get all the nice little nugs everywhere. All right. So then just take the squash mushroom mix. And again, I mean, it can be just a dish all by itself.
Okay, Martha, we're way ahead of you here at Casa Cunningham.
And then a little bit of drizzle. Can you guys see that?
More
Some
drizzle.
A little drizzle over the whole shebang. Some nice cilantro leaves if you like that sort of thing. If you don't like the cilantro leaves, you don't have to have it, but it does really kind of pull the dish together. A little bit of pomegranate seeds over the top. Look at how festive that is. Can you guys see that?
It's beautiful.
Awesome.
All right.
Hang on a second. I want you to see my plate. Just keep going. I'll be back.
All right. I'm done. So what happened?
Here's the plate. Can you see it?
Oh yeah,
It's empty.
it's empty now.
Ed is my taste tester.
That looks great, Amy. Good job. How does it taste?
Ed said it's
I'm
wonderful.
not sure yet. I have to go bring it to your brother.
Oh. Okay, tell them to enjoy it.
This
I'll taste
tastes
it.
so good. Mm.
You like that?
Yeah, it's excellent.
So
Yeah.
those are just nice little tricks. Jim, how'd it come out?
I think it turned out well. I'm plating. Hang on just a second.
Okay, I can't wait to see it.
Ed already ate my plate already. It's gone.
Hey, Martha. Martha, Barry wanted to come and say hi.
Hi, Barry.
Martha.
How are you, my friend?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good.
He misses your
I got all
meals
my
I do.
friends on the
because I'm cooking.
Yeah, that's amazing, Susan.
All right, I'll let you two ladies do what you're doing.
All
Now,
right, so now you
can't
guys
see it, but
feel
I'm not
that you
wearing
might
any
be able
pants.
to enter the world of squash a little bit more, a little less like, oh, squash.
I can't wait to try this. That looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it gets overcooked, don't worry about it. Throw an onion in there, let that onion cook up, put it in a blender, and you have soup.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
beautiful, Tim. Look at you. Bravo. Everybody gets a star today.
Yeah, that looks good.
Mm.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Martha.
My pleasure. All right, everybody. Any questions, any comments, anything you need to know before I'm done?
My question is how do we get a recording of this? You told me I was supposed to ask at the today. So do we need to
have a
email?
link for you tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Yep. Those links will come to you all.
Excellent.
Jean,
Okay,
you're awfully quiet there, Jean Thornton.
Well, you know, Martha, I've just been taking notes and being very studious. I've got it all down. I'm ready to do
I'm
this.
gonna send you a culinary degree from here. All you people, culinary degrees. Well, thanks for coming and, watching and cooking.
This was fun.
Thanks, Martha.
Martha,
Yeah, my pleasure.
that's a wonderful recipe. Thank you. Thank you.
It
Thank
looks
you.
delicious. And I admire everyone who cooks along. I'm just the
Me
note
too.
taker. If anyone needs to know how much oil to use or whatever, I've got it all written down.
That's what
Sheila,
that
you better
video's all
call
about.
Jean.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It
Good.
was
All
fun.
right, everybody.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Thank you. Good to
See you
see
all
everybody.
Thursday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And it's a wrap.